In her book, River Through My Heart, Laurie Goyen, who is our guest today, wrote this paragraph. Now, with Blake continuously crying in pain, our sense of urgency increased tenfold with each passing minute. We all piled into the car, and as Doug backed it out of the driveway, I peered out of my window as the gray sky, its clouds about to burst, and inwardly pleaded to heaven for my child to be okay. The journey that you and Doug and Garrett and Blake have taken in this book about fear and, I mean, gut-wrenching fear, faith, all of it, kind of give us just a snapshot of this book.
Give you a snapshot?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what inspired me to write the book was when Blake was 7 years old, he became ill overnight. And it took 3 weeks to figure out what was wrong with him. And that alone, the 18 days leading up to trying to figure out what was wrong with him.
They thought it was encephalitis
at first, the doctor that we went to get a second opinion, he had thought it was meningitis, which is very similar to encephalitis. Encephalitis is where the virus gets into the gray matter of your brain, and meningitis is where it just stays in the outer layer. Oh. So both of them can be deadly. Both of them can be have serious lasting effects, and so it was a very serious illness.
That lasted how long?
The whole ordeal was about 5 months.
But it was a lifetime. It had to be a lifetime in the fear and worrying and the pain, the excruciating pain that he was in.
Especially for a worrier like me. Talk about being put to the test. you know, instead of conjuring something up.
Are you by nature a warrior?
I have a very long chapter in there dedicated just to worry. It's called Worry because that's been my cross to bear. Mm-hmm. And I think we all have our weaknesses, mm-hmm. whatever you want to call them, that we have to overcome.
Right.
And I find that a lot of times you can take those and make those part of your purpose because, right. For instance, if I wasn't a worrier, and I hadn't gone through a lot of things I had with my anxiety, then I wouldn't be able to help somebody else. So
that's exactly right.
So you can flip the things that have been difficult in your life and channel them in a way to be part of your purpose.
Exactly.
And it all makes sense.
It's taking any devastation, anything like that, and giving it a purpose helps you to go through it.
Well, yes, because otherwise it's just a painful experience.
That's right. You're exactly right.
And so I kind of like to look at life as a great big classroom. And I'm always taking notes for the next test because there's always going to be another test. And some people, things happen to them and they just are devastated and they don't learn from them. And the whole point for me is to try to get something out of everything.
Then what did you learn from this?
Well, one of the lessons I learned from Blake becoming ill was that being a worrier, when he was at his worst, and we were at our darkest on Easter.
Yes.
And we were told by 2 of the hospital staff, one of them a doctor, saying that he might not make it. Mm-hmm. That you can be at your darkest hour and think things are not going to, it's as bad as it can get, and they can turn around and be fine. So the best thing you can do in a situation like that is have faith. And the person that you're worried about or the situation deserves that. It deserves for you to go to the good and not to the negative. You know?
Oh, yes, absolutely. To surround him with the energy of that faith and that hope. You believe that 100%.
Oh, absolutely. If I didn't have faith in my life, Lord Almighty, I'd be way back in the back.
Well, that's basically the whole theme of my book.
Is the faith, but here's the thing. How do you help people learn to trust something beyond themselves and what they cannot see? But because faith is all about feeling.
Well, all I can say to that is that when I've gone through the most difficult times in my life, since God can't hug me and He can't hold me and I can't hear His voice, what He does do is call people that love
Bring them
me,
in.
to friends, families, sometimes strangers, sometimes animals into your life. I write about that to get you through it. So
He calls upon the people that you need at that moment to help you go to the next step.
To do His work. So have you ever been inspired when you have a friend who's going through something and you're like, I need to call her or I need to send a card? I tend to believe that's God and that you should answer that and you should do it because He's calling on you to help somebody get through a difficult time. We're His helpers. So
what if you prayed for if somebody prayed for an angel and you showed up?
Well, I bet we've done that a lot in our lives.
That's right.
You've been someone's
And we're
angel.
supposed to
Someone's
do that.
angel. I've been some, because when we come through when people need it the most, that's what that's what life's all about.
It is.
right. That's
You
our
are so
purpose.
right. And I'm sitting here, you have this vibrancy and this energy, but I mean, she knows you don't just believe it, you know it. Everything you're talking about. We got to come back with her. Don't you go away, because we're going to talk more with Laurie about her journey with getting her memoir published.
Yes.
How did she turn this passion into one that has become a profession? We'll be right back.